Hi everyone, this is my impressions video for Exodus. I will preface this by saying that if you're easily offended by commentary on religious texts, you might want to skip this one. Exodus is easily one of the most vile things that has ever been my gross misfortune to read. Moses, Aaron, and the Pharaoh and the beginning all strike me as equal pawns in God's sadistic little game of kill all humans. Or maybe kill most humans, but leave enough alive to breed so that there will be more to kill later. Between the four major players here, the one who seems to have the most morality is the slave-owning Pharaoh, for crying out loud. I mean, at least he wants to stop the slaughter. God won't let him release the slaves, insists on killing people, children, and helpless animals among them. And Moses and Aaron just don't bat an eye at the destruction going on around them, even though that they're told that the only reason that this is happening is because God is making the Pharaoh say no. This whole story is disgusting, and beyond that, it's self-contradictory. I mean, 3 plagues that say that God kills all the cattle in Egypt? I mean, unless he's bringing them all back to life afterwards, it's just ridiculous. And last, just to make things that much more over-the-top immoral, God tells Moses that the only reason he's not letting the Pharaoh free the slaves is that more plagues makes a better friggin' story. Now, the second part of Exodus isn't that much better. The original list of commandments, which contains the famous ones, God seems much more concerned with how the Israelites should treat their animals than other people. And even then, he's only really concerned with his favorite people. I mean, at this point in time, it's Moses. Everyone else is pretty much an afterthought. Or I guarantee there will be more people to kill later. Anyway, immediately after getting the first set of commandments that says, "Thou shalt not kill," Moses goes and orders the murder of 3,000 of his own people. There's not even mention of the barest whisper of punishment for this either. I mean, who do these commandments apply to if the Israelites themselves aren't going to live up to them? And then there's the second set of commandments, which are actually called the 10 Commandments in the Bible. The first set aren't. Not a big deal, that. And while the 2 sets are fairly similar, there's some in the second set that's just random gibberish. I mean, "Thou shalt not offer blood sacrifices with leaven." Really? Who cares? I mean, what's God against yeast anyways? He made the stuff. I mean, my take on something like this is that some priests, thousands of years ago, got together and understood that yeast could do something. Didn't understand it. And thus just declared it heathen magic and evil, and that tradition basically just got carried forward into the Bible. Now, I'm not trying to interpret this story as literal. I mean, there's a huge amount of research, even by religious scholars, that says that it's just a story. And it's based on earlier stories of Gilgamesh and other ancient characters. There was no slave exodus out of Egypt. There was no plagues caused by God, no parting in the Red Sea, any of that stuff. However, even interpreting this story as charitably as possible, I am still left with one unavoidable impression. The character of God is just evil. I mean, just the idea that a loving God, as we are commanded to think of him, would allow this type of story to be included in his holy book is really disturbing. I mean, think of it. If you were a god and you were caring for the people on some planet, right? Planet in your hand, and you're caring for these folks, would you play both sides in a situation like this? Force slavery on your chosen people, then slaughter your way through the children of an entire civilization just to make a good story? Especially when you're fully capable of just taking your slaves out of Egypt, just, and making the Egyptians forget all about them with nothing more than a thought. I mean, it's disgusting. Even to just allow this story in a supposedly holy book is disgusting. After reading Exodus, honestly, my first thought was that God lied to Moses when he said his name was Jehovah. A much, much more appropriate name for him at this point is Satan. And then there's this idea that we, as Homo sapiens, get our morality from this guy. That's a deeply offensive notion once you see the morality presented here. Once you realize that all the suffering and death caused by this deity was a complete waste. With the power to simply change what he wants, he decides the best option is slaughter. Not just this time either, but just once is enough to say that the morality presented in Exodus is unquestionably that of a psychopath. Anyway, I think the main message here is that to anyone who thinks we get our morality from God or from the Bible, anyone who thinks that should, in Penn Jillette's words, read the damn Bible. Read Exodus for yourself. Don't just go looking for an interpretation online, be it mine or anybody else's. Don't go talk to a priest about it or anything like that. Just read it for yourself. Interpret it for yourself. Think about it for yourself. And at the end of that, once you've read it, once you understand what the Bible actually says is going on, and keep in mind that this is a story that, if God is real, he's permitted this to be in his holy book. Then try to say that we get our morality from God. I will warn you, though, this is a hideous little story. Thanks for watching.